Hello and welcome back to Cooking with Ollie. Today we are gonna be making my favorite breakfast. This is basically the breakfast I've been eating every day now for a little while and I really love it. So we're gonna be making it right here. I'm gonna be showing you how to do it. It's basically a little mini pancake, but that's really it. But yeah, let's just jump into it. First, we're gonna show you the ingredients. We got some eggs right here. We got some milk, of course we have some butter for in the pan, then we have some protein oatmeal, and we also have some normal whey protein powder. Alright, so what we're gonna start off with right now is filling this thing up with 500 milliliters of our milk. So let's just go ahead and do that right now. Now if it's a little less or a little more, that's not that big of a deal. You don't need to be too exact with the numbers here, but yeah, roughly 500 milliliters, there we go, that is a nice amount here. And then with that, I'm gonna grab this little thing right here, there we go. We're gonna have 5 eggs added in there. So let's just go ahead and add those. Yeah, that's 1 egg. Okay, that's 2 eggs. That's the third one. Now we're at 4 eggs. And there we go, that's 5 eggs in our little milk thing right here. Just make sure all the yolk goes in and all the egg whites, there we go. Boom. And at this point you already want to go and stir it up in there, because otherwise the mixture will not be tasting very nice. So let's go ahead and stir this all up. And there we go. So when it is stirred up, it should be a little more yellowish and you shouldn't be able to see any bits on the sides here. So I do believe it's now quite well stirred up. So there we go. And what we're going to be doing now is first add in a scoop of our protein. So there we go. This is around 30 grams that we're going to be adding in there. So we're just going to take a big old scoop. Oh, maybe a little bit bigger. There we go. And I got a banana flavor right now. I like the banana flavor. I basically always get the banana flavor. So that's the one we're going to be adding in with the protein. There we go. And then, I'm actually going to use this scoop as well to scoop out some oatmeal. And with the oatmeal, I got chocolate right here. Now, usually I do cookies and cream. So this is the first time I'm gonna be trying out the chocolate. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna taste. But it's always delicious. Let's just keep it at that. And with the oatmeal, you want 2 scoops. So you want 60 grams. So that is 1. And then we're gonna get a nice extra one as well. And yeah, I do believe this will be quite delicious, since I do like the combination of banana and chocolate. So I don't see how this could go wrong. Alright, there we go. We're just gonna put that back over there. And now, of course, you're not gonna add this into the pan like this. You gotta stir it up yet again. So we're gonna go in there and give it a little stir. Okay. There we go. So it takes a little while to get this well stirred, since there's a lot of powder in there. It takes a little while. We're gonna wash this thing off straight away already a little bit. There we go. And now just leave it at that. But now you can see we have almost come at 900 milliliters of liquids here, which is of course quite a lot, but that is good. What I like to do with this is have roughly just maybe a little less than 100 milliliters per pancake, so to say. So with this I can make a total of 9, probably closer to 10 or 11 even, which is really nice. That is what I like, because what I like to do is actually make this mixture for a couple of days in advance. But hey, we'll get back to that a little bit later, because what we're going to be doing now is adding some butter into the pan, and we're going to start heating that up. So let's first put some fire on the pitch here. There we go. And then put a little bit of butter in there. Now you don't need all that much butter per pancake, so to call it. Just a little smidget. So something like this is already more than enough. So we're just gonna add that in there and let that melt for a little bit. Okay, so our butter is just about fully melted now. As you can see, that is nice. And here we have, of course, our little mixture. And what we're gonna be doing is just filling it basically up until it is there's a layer all around. So you don't want a thick pancake, you just want it to be enough that the whole thing is filled. So I'm gonna show you what that is gonna look like. So you go in and you fill it roughly to around this point. So you can see now the whole bottom of the pan is completely filled with our mixture, but it's not really overflowing or anything. At this point you want to then put it at quite a bit of a higher heat, around halfway. Not too high, because if you put it too high, the bottom will be done before the top part will be, and then flipping it over will become quite difficult. So I put it at around midway heat right now, and then we're going to give it a little bit of time. And as you can see, for one pancake it uses around roughly 100 milliliters, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, kind of depends with each pancake. But yeah, that means that I just made a mixture for definitely around 9 pancakes, so that's quite nice. Anyway, we're gonna now wait a little bit for this to heat up. It actually goes quite quickly, so this only takes like a minute, and what I like to do is just wait for it to start boiling a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, it's starting to boil up a little bit, which is good. That's what you want. At this point I like to make sure all the sides are not sticking to the pan anymore. If they do stick to the pan, you know you have used not enough butter, so to say. At this point, when it starts doing this, I like to jiggle around the pancake a little bit, make sure it's all loose, and it looks like that is the case right now. And you just give it a little bit more time, and then in a second we're gonna be flipping it over. So the first pancake always takes the longest, since the pan still needs to heat up a little bit. So right now it's taking a little bit longer than the other ones will, which is fine, you know, we got all time, sort of. Anyway, at this point I like to just wait a little bit and move it around, and when I see the top part is not, you know, really liquid anymore, then I'm pretty certain it's ready to be flipped over. So it's almost done now. Yes, and I do believe we've now reached the point where it's ready to be flipped over. Now you could use a spoon and everything like that in order to flip it over. I'm a master chef, of course, so I'm gonna just, you know, whoop it around, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. So you go like this, and then hoppa, there we go. And look at that, that is a perfect looking pancake to me. So now it's on the other side. You of course want to give it a little bit of time yet again, for the other side to be basically the same looking as this side is, and then it's already finished. So yeah, we're just gonna give it a little second here. Now at this point you can put the heat a little bit higher as well for it to go quicker. Of course you don't need to flip it over anymore, and this side is already done, so the heat can be a little bit higher. I do believe this pancake is almost completely finished now, which is nice. It's smelling quite good. It smells a lot like chocolate, this one. As I said, I haven't used this flavor before actually, so I'm kind of interested myself to see how this is going to taste. But yeah, I do believe this pancake is now done, so I'm going to put the heat all the way down. And we're gonna just put it on our little plate here. And let's just take a little look at the underside. Yeah, that is looking good to me. So there we have our first little pancake. And now what I like to do is once again add a little bit of butter into the pan. Basically the same amount as the first time around. So just a small smidget of it. Put it in there. Of course, since the pan is already quite hot, it will melt basically instantly. It's going real quick. And then you just repeat the process with the pancake mixture adding in there, flipping it over after a little while, etc. But as I said, the first one takes the longest. So at this point you are probably gonna have you know, less time to react, so to say. So when I add in the mixture, it will already start going quite quickly. Anyway, we're gonna do the same thing here again, where I'm gonna add it in until it's basically all along the bottom. So just like so. There we go, and you don't need any more than that. And now I'm gonna put back up that heat until the 3, so that's the halfway point for us. And then just do the same thing as I did before. Wait for it to start boiling a little bit, jiggle it around at that point. Don't jiggle it around before that, because then the pancake will break. And then once I've jiggled it around enough, I can flip it again. Okay. Okay, it's almost time already again. As you can see, it's still a little bit jiggly and liquidly on the top. So I'm gonna give it a little more time here, but not much, because the underside is done. And yeah, I think it's now ready to be flipped over again. So let's have another go at that. 1 and 2. Oh, ooh! All right, I did miss it a little bit, which is fine, because with this pancake you can just kind of move it around with your knife and then fix it like that. Let's see. I think I need to first jiggle it back into the pan. So just there we go, and then you just flip it back. There we go, and look at that. Since the oatmeal is quite a big like building thing in this, it makes it quite thick. It actually kind of stays together quite a lot. So, you know, with the normal pancakes, they fall apart quite easily. But these ones, they stick together quite nicely. So that is a plus point. Even if you're not as good as me at the flipping part, it will still be okay in the end. Alrighty, and I do believe this one is now done as well. I think this one is maybe a little bit thicker than our first one was, but that's okay. That will only make it a little bit tastier. But yeah, there we go. That is now 2 of those pancakes done. It is looking quite good to me. And for now, I'm gonna end the video right here, since, you know, the rest of the process is just kind of the same. But before we do that, what I do like to show you is the following. So I got this little tube right here. And as I was saying before, you know, this is quite a lot of mixture. I still have like almost 700 milliliters left, and I'm not going to be using that all today, because then my breakfast would simply be just way too big. So what I'm going to be doing, this is a 500 milliliter tube. I'm going to basically be adding this stuff in here, and then I can put this into the fridge. Oh, I missed it a little bit, but that's okay. I can put this stuff into the fridge, and tomorrow when I wake up, I don't need to make this mixture again. I can just grab my tube and put it into the pan when the butter is in there. So here we go. Make sure it's all going in. I did miss a little bit at some point, but that's okay. And one tip I do like to give, there we go, that is now all filled. I do like to give is, whenever you do this, tomorrow when I wake up, I need to make sure to first shake it quite well, because this stuff does kind of, you know, move apart from each other, and that means that if you don't shake it up well, you will just get a really disgusting mixture. So you need to shake it up before using it again. But that's it. I can just put this into the fridge, and then it's ready for tomorrow, which is really nice, because I've basically now meal prepped my breakfast for 2 days in a row, and I still got a bit of mixture left, so I'm going to be making 2 more little pancakes with that. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like the breakfast. It's really high in protein. Each of these pancakes will definitely have, I believe, like 10 to 15 grams of protein, something like that. So that's pretty good, especially if you like 4. That's quite a lot of protein, if you were to ask me. So yeah, this is right now my favorite breakfast. I basically eat it every day. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.